Hey ladies, how are you? It's your girl Nikki back for another episode of Life According to Nikki. You guys, let me paint a picture for you of what is going on in my space right now. We're sitting basically in the dark. It is 5 p.m., very bright outside, hot as can be. Okay, I think it's 95 degrees today, which I had a friend, I think I might have mentioned this before, but I had a friend send me a meme that said, "I'm sorry, I don't speak oven." And I've just been laughing at that ever since. But it is, let's see, it was 90 degrees today with, what's the UV? Because the UV is crazy here. And the UV, let's see, do you guys know what the UV is? How do I explain UV? Google? UV is like how much the sun is like penetrating into your skin. What is UV rating? UV measures the intensity of the sun's harmful ultraviolet radiation on a scale of 1, which is low, to 11 plus, which is extreme. So basically anything over 11 is extreme, indicating the potential for skin/eye damage. Higher numbers mean greater risk, requiring more sun protection like sunscreen, hats, shade, especially when it's 3 or above, as UV rays can cause sunburn, skin aging, and skin cancer. And then anything above 11 is an extreme risk. Unprotected skin will burn rapidly. And I think it was a UV of 11 today, and the other day it was 104 degrees with a UV of 13. Oh my gosh, it felt like the sun was actually on my back. And I have said this before, I am the least sexy person on a beach. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I never look uglier. And, it's not possible for me to look ugly because it's not possible for any of us to look ugly. Ugly is a state of mind. But if we are going by the conventional beauty standards of 2025, your girl's walking out there like a troll. Because I got on my hat with it zipped up to my chin for the wind. I got a really nice hat for Christmas, actually. I'm super excited about it. But it's like a tan color. It's kind of an ugly color. It's great. It works for everything. It looks like a really nice gardener/hiking hat. It looks very adventurous, which I am not. But it's doing a great job protecting from the sun. It also has like a detachable neck sun flap. It has air ventilation in the back. It's a nice hat. It's nice. But it does make me look like an actual dork. Which I love. And anyway, so I'm wearing that on the beach along with a fully sleeved, hooded, what is it called? Like a rash guard that I got. Yeah, that, and then I'm basically wearing pants as well. Just fully covered. And yet somehow I managed to get a back burn on my back shoulder blades. And guys, it is killing me. Oh, it hurts so bad. I hate a sunburn. Oh, I am so prone to sunburns, which is why I'm like, you know what? Aesthetics be damned. I am not out here to find a man. It's never gonna happen, okay? Me on a beach, I'm not aesthetically appealing at all because I am fighting for my life, trying not to get skin cancer in any sort of outdoor situation, but especially here in Australia where the sun is just ready, guns out, ready to fire. And I said, absolutely not. I will cover up. I have full respect of the sun. And even with my complete respect, I still got burned. I was looking ugly and I got burned. So it wasn't even worth it. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. There is something to being the ugliest one on a beach. There is something that does to, like, your psyche as a person. Like, there's a moment that you really have to, like, sit there and be, like, committed to being fully covered up with an umbrella when everyone else around you is looking super hot in a bikini, like sunbathing. There is a level of commitment, confidence, a lack of pride that has to be present in order for that to happen. And let me tell you, I contain all of that. I have enough confidence and not enough pride. I will be fully clothed and covered on a beach with an umbrella, no makeup, barely getting in the water. And when I'm in the water, we are full snorkel gear on. Okay, we are not going to the beach for aesthetics. Not if you're with me. We are playing mermaids, or why go out? You know, like, let's either sit under the shade or do it for real. But we're none of this in between trying to look hot thing. That is not my vibe. Never has been, never will be. I could be a freaking bodybuilder with, aesthetically everyone's dream body. You will not catch me on a beach in a bikini. Not because I have any issues with that. It's just purely because I refuse to let the sun win. I refuse to die early of skin cancer because heaven knows it's coming for me. Absolutely it is. Oh my gosh, my skin, the second it sees the sun, we are Edward Cullen, sparkling away, except instead of like glittering, it's sizzling. And it's just frying me. It is so unpleasant. My scalp will burn on a 5-minute walk outside in Utah. Okay, I was not built for this place. I am not the skin type for this particular region of the world. I'm telling you that right now. I actually think I need to move to England at one point in my life to, just try that on for size, because I think that my ancestors are calling to me and my skin is saying that's where we belong. That is where my origins originate from. The Irish, what is it, the Ors of Ireland, is that a thing? Yeah, anyways, I need to be where the sun isn't. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I'm currently in my room in the dark, even though it's fully bright outside, just to, again, avoid the sun, avoid the heat. And I'm just here talking to all of you. So thanks for being here. If you can just send a little bit of sympathy my way for my sunburn, I appreciate it. I will be sending sympathy your way for all of the snow, for my people back home, because that's the other thing. I do hate the alternative. I can never be pleased. I complain when it's hot, but I really complain when it's cold. So if anything, I do actually prefer the heat, because I'll just stay indoors, cover up, not be sexy on the beach. That's fine. Do not have me going out, I don't know, on like a snowy day. It's not gonna happen. No thanks. Yes, I ski, but it's not fun when it's freezing. It's fun when it's warm. And everyone's argument of, you can layer up when it's cold. Garbage. You know what? Maybe I can layer up all you want, but nothing will fix my attitude when I'm cold. Whereas I can absolutely find an attitude adjustment when I'm too hot. And that's a hill I'll die on, is that I do think, for me, no one could ever convince me that it is better to be too cold than too hot. It is better to be too hot. Absolutely, 100%. I will die there. Do not fight me on that, because you will not win. I'm laying down on the burning hot sun with my hat and everything covered, okay? I will lie here and dig a grave, because I would rather be too hot than too cold. All right, are we ready for an intro song 10 minutes later? Yeah, me too. Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh man, what a long day I've had. I just worked for 8.5 hours. I'm pooped, exhausted, sat all day basically. My back hurts. I need to go exercise, but again, too hot. So I gotta wait until it's a little cooler outside. But I need to talk to you all about how stinking cute you've been. Everyone's been messaging me and asking how I'm doing, specifically how I'm doing in relation to the mean comments that I get on Instagram. And it's really tender and sweet to think that like people are genuinely concerned, especially my friends, my family, like people who have followed me for a while. They'll reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, like, are you doing all right?" Like, people, just ignore them. We ignore the haters. People are so mean for no reason. And rest assured, everybody, I've said it before, but I will say it again. I do not read my comments. So don't you worry. I haven't seen a thing. I do know they're mean. I do know that. Does it surprise me in the slightest? No, of course not. But it's on the backs of my haters that I'm getting views, and they are helping me build towards what I'm actually going towards. So you know what? We'll use them for now. We'll get rid of them later. It's really not that big of a deal. They will, tire themselves out. They're like a kid throwing a tantrum, just let them scream it out, and they'll get tired eventually and move on. But I really don't care because I do not read my comments. And I was having a conversation with a friend the other day about this, and she was saying, because she didn't know that I don't read them, but she was just making a commentary of like, "Oh, Nikki, like, you're so positive and stuff, so you're probably like, you probably don't get them, or you don't let them get to you, the comments." And let me just shatter the reality, or whatever, the rose-colored glasses on that to help you brace. What am I trying to say here? Let me shatter the illusion so that you are faced with reality on that particular notion that I am just like really positive and confident and like comments mean people wouldn't affect me. Oh, they would definitely affect me. 100%. They would affect me, which is why I don't read them. So this is where boundaries really come into play. It's such a trigger word. I try not to use it, honestly, because I feel like we discuss boundaries in an incorrect way far too often. And again, we try and put boundaries on other people. But a boundary, truly, is like something that you're setting for yourself of how you are going to react in relation to other people's actions. Because you have no control over what other people are going to do. I have no control over mean comments, right? I can go in knowing that I'm posting something and therefore I am like opening myself up to criticism and feedback, but there is nothing that I can do to truly stop that unless I don't want to post. I could just not post, but I do want to post because I have goals and I need my account to grow, right? So the boundary that I have is for myself and myself alone, because I know me and I know how long it took me to get here, how far I had to come, how high I had to climb to get to the place that I'm at mentally, of not giving away just spaces in my head rent-free to people who don't deserve it. Like, no. If you are in my head, if you are here up in my noggin and I'm thinking about you and spending time thinking about you, you are worth my time, because I no longer give my thoughts and energy towards things that are not worth it. Nothing is living in my head rent-free. Mark my freaking words on that. Not everyone's paying a premium. Everyone's paying rent, and it's due at the top of the month. And if you miss the date to pay, you're evicted that afternoon, okay? Nothing is just going on in my head that shouldn't be there. And if it is, if I'm like anxious about something or whatever, like, it is addressed immediately. It is given the time and space that it needs. We are doing manifesting. We are sitting and meditating. we are working with all of the tools that I have been given in therapy over all the years, okay? So, no, I'm not gonna read a comment because why would I again allow that into my space that I have cleaned out and really established? Why would I just like let that negativity in from a stranger, no less? Because I know it would hurt my feelings. I know it would because I care what people think. I do. I've gotten to a place where I care far, far, far less than I used to, and I'm able to kind of talk myself into a place of, if someone doesn't like me, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the discomfort that brings me to be like a villain in someone else's story, because ultimately I cannot change people's minds. That's not my job either. Like, to some people, there is nothing that I could possibly do to change their mind about me and who I am. Their perception of me is what they perceive, and whether I believe that it's right or wrong is irrelevant. That is how they view me, and it's just not worth my energy to go and try and convince someone of something different. I know who I am. I know that I try my best. I know when I don't succeed, and I try my very best to own up to when I have been an actual brat and manipulative and just not a good person. And I have to live with that. Like, I have to live with my own choices and the regrets of, you know what, I behaved or said or did something that I no longer stand behind, and honestly couldn't stand behind it in the moment, and I chose to do it anyways. And I have to face the consequences of that, and that in some circumstances hurt other people, and they are now going to view me through this lens based on that one experience with me forever. They will view me through a lens that I would prefer they didn't, because I don't feel like that fully reflects who I am as a whole person. But you know what? That was my choice, and it is what it is. And I can sit back and be okay with me and be okay with that and do better and look forward, and be friends and surround myself with people who do see all of me. Because I do the same for others, I have perceptions of people that are very limited and based on one or two interactions with them that probably don't reflect who they are as a person, but I'm making a rash judgment, and I don't care to know the rest of them because I have the information that I want to make a judgment, and there's nothing that they can do about that. So why would I expect any different for myself? But what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to feedback from other people, I am now very conscious of the feedback that I am willing to have, because the feedback that I'm looking for is to really make me a better friend, a better person, and that feedback can only come from people who see me as a whole person and that can help me see myself more clearly, who can truly be a mirror for me. You want to know who's not a mirror? Strangers. They're not. So why would I subject myself to what some idiot on the internet has to say? Like, no, plus I'm also rage baiting them, so like, they're falling for it. Do I really want someone, I hate to say it, but that dumb to like have their opinion up in my head? No! You gotta pay to be here, babe. Oh my gosh, we are not handing out anything for free. No, you want to comment on me? You want to have something live in my head rent-free, toying around up in there? Yeah, you best make it worth my time. And yeah, so rest assured, that boundary was set long before I made this account, and I am not reading the comments. Never have. Zero temptation. Zero. Next to zero. Like, I would rather just turn all my comments off, like Taylor Swift style. But honestly, I need the engagement, so y'all keep commenting. But yeah, no, I think it's because I know that it would get to me, and so I know that my mental health is worth more than me testing it. Like, no, I don't think my resolve would last very long at all. I think 10 years of building up to where I am now would fall apart in like a week reading mean comments. I really do not think that it would last that long. I think it is very strong in a lot of senses, but why would I test that in such a stupid way? You know what I mean? Like, why would I put a freaking atomic bomb down on my mental health, like on everything that I've built? Like, that's so stupid. No. I've built a really nice foundation. Like, things aren't breaking into the walls, but I don't need to drop anything from the sky. And that's what these comments would be. That's what hate comments are. They're just bombs from the sky, okay? It makes it easier when, you know, someone comes along and they try and, like, get to you. You're like, whoa, I built a fortress, all right? You're not getting in. I know who I am. But when something just kind of comes out of nowhere, just drops in on you, like some comment about your looks or your personality or just, like, who you are, things you can't change. No, I'm not dropping that in on me. No, that's good. None of my business. Truly, I don't ever need to hear what some stranger thinks of me. No, unless the stranger is my friend and it's positive, I don't need to know. I don't need the negativity, and I don't think any of us do. So, yeah, that to me is boundary setting, is saying, hey, I have a weakness here. I would be affected by this, so I am going to put things in place to make sure that I don't ruin everything that I have worked towards, because that would be really stupid of me to do that. And for what? To know what the internet thinks of me? No. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to take a little sip of my H2 cocoa chocolate. This is coconut water, which I hate, but it's cocoa flavored, which makes it taste like chocolate milk. I'm going to have to Google if this stuff's in the US, because this is now my newest addiction. It is crack cocaine to me. I am drinking this stuff by the gallon. They don't sell it by the gallon, but I'm consuming it just by the liter, I guess, here. Oh my gosh. It tastes like chocolate milk, and it doesn't make any freaking sense to me because the only ingredients are coconut milk. Let's see. Coconut water, 95%. Coconut cream, 2%. Cane sugar, cocoa powder, 1%. Saccharose esters of fatty acids, that's the key ingredient here, and natural flavor. It's also a 4 on the Health Star rating. 4 out of 5. Very, very healthy. Extremely hydrating. It's called Hydrating Indulgence. Not sponsored. And it's also, like, very few calories as well. How many calories are you? I've never looked. Where do you even find calories? How do you guys do this? Energy is 640 kg? I don't know. I don't know what that means. They measure things differently here. I don't know. But anyways, it's also vegan. Oh, it's so good. It is so good. So I'm just hydrating up. Hold on. Lovely. All right, should we get to the TV shows that I've watched? To the things I've been watching? I went and watched the new Avatar. But I think we'll actually get to that last, because I have other things that I teased in my last episode that we're going to talk about. Which, after that last episode, I contacted my sister-in-law to get her permission to make sure that she was cool that I talked about her and my brother, blah, blah, blah. And I actually interviewed my sister-in-law, because I thought that'd be way fun. And that episode will come out sometime soon. Don't know when. I still have, I think like 2 other episodes that I still need to edit. One with Ravi, and then my sister-in-law, and then I feel like there's another one that's backlogged that I'm forgetting about. But, you know, c'est la vie. Editing takes time and energy, both of which I don't have at the moment, so we're just free-flowing here, and we're going to talk about some things that I've watched. Up at the top, last night, I finished F1, the movie with Brad Pitt. I gave it a big, fat thumbs down. I did not like this movie. Now, I really enjoyed Ford versus Ferrari, So I thought I was going to like F1 because of that movie. And to be honest, it was one of my favorite movies, actually. Ford versus Ferrari was so good. I enjoyed it way more than I ever could have imagined. And I've seen it many times since. And actually, I want to watch it again now that I've seen F1 and didn't like it, because I would like to watch something race car related and enjoy it again. But wow, no. There was parts of F1 that were interesting, and I watched it with two guys who are both really big fans of F1, so that was nice because I love to talk during a movie. I love getting fun facts. I love being able to ask my questions and having knowledgeable people there to answer them so we can pause and I can get some added information and context. Love that. I love my movies to be a learning experience. And it was. So that I enjoyed. I felt like some of the camera stuff was cool, especially in one of the last scenes. The camera angle is inside the goggles of the person who's driving, of Brad Pitt, and that was kind of cool. Let's see, there was other parts of it that were really interesting, just as far as the background people of F1, of this entire sport. This sport is wild to me. Okay, I'm confused by F1 in general. I think I would really enjoy having a full F1 breakdown and like watching, what is it, Drive to Survive or something. There's some Netflix series that I was told was really good. And I have a lot of friends, like girlfriends, that are into F1, not just guys. But this is just one of those, I think I'm going to need a guy in my life to just be obsessed with F1 and then want to share that with me, and then I will get on board. I don't think I'm going to do it on my own, you know? And okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be a guy. I think I would just prefer it to be a guy because I would love to have a boyfriend in my life. But you know what? As always, I will accept a friend instead who's really into it. But I think it'd be really cute if some guy that I was dating was super into F1 and was like, let me share this with you, because that's a love language for me, sharing TV and movies and getting to vicariously watch it for the first time through another person's eyes. Oh, is there any greater gift that I can give someone or be given? No. That it would actually be such a great birthday present and Christmas present if someone was like, Nikki, I'm gonna sit down and watch your favorite movie with you right now as a gift, as a present. I'm actually getting emotional just thinking about how much I would love that. I would love that so much if I told you about a TV series or about a movie, especially a movie, and I'm like, you have to watch this. It's so good. We should watch this together. And then you came to me and you said, Nikki, can we watch that movie that you told me about and that you said I would love and you said is amazing? Oh my gosh. That is just a dream for me. I love watching things with my friends that I've already seen that I can then watch with them and they experience it for the first time. It's beautiful. It makes me so happy. But I swear on my life, if you are on your freaking phone while giving me that gift, the gift is void. Do not be on your phone when we are watching something, especially if I'm trying to show it to you. If this is like a movie that I recommended, hand selected for you, pitched it, I did all the work, and all you gotta do is sit there and watch it, and you're on your freaking phone on Instagram? We're not friends. We are not friends. Put it down. You can be 2.5 hours without it. Stop. I'm trying to show you something. Just put the phone down. That annoys me so much. Oh, okay. F1. F1 is a story about Brad Pitt, who is this racing legend. It's all made up, so I thought it was based on a true story. It's not. He plays someone named Sonny Hayes, who is a retired F1 driver. And F1, for anyone that is unfamiliar, which I'm very not familiar, so I don't know if I'm the best one to explain this, but it's race car driving. Apparently, it's very elite sport, very difficult. You have to be in peak shape to drive these cars because they're pulling a lot of G-force. They're very fast, like up to 200 miles an hour. The part that really got me was how fast those pit crew changes are. 2 seconds! 2 seconds to fully change these tires. Like, there are teams that just train over and over and over again just to, like, do the pit stops. That's crazy. And then there's all sorts of rules. Apparently they change every year of what the criteria is for these cars. So you have just tons of like engineers, like aerospace engineers working on these cars. There's these huge teams. A ton of money is put into these races. And yeah, it's a race. But Sonny in the movie, he is a retired F1 driver. He got in a big, massive wreck and hurt his back. And yeah, he's just been away from the sport ever since, just randomly racing in a bunch of weird races of different cars. But his friend, he's desperate and he needs another driver. And so he asks Sonny / Brad Pitt to come back and drive for his team with him and the rookie that's on the team. And the rookie in this case is Damson Idris, who was recently on Chicken Shop Date, which is one of my favorite YouTube channels. And he was amazing on Chicken Shop Date. I'd never seen him in anything before, and I watched that like 9-minute video and instantly was like, and you're my celebrity crush. Like, he is so freaking good looking. Oh my gosh. If you want to know my current celebrity crush, it is him. He is so attractive. So, just ridiculously attractive man. Terrible actor, though, unfortunately. Yeah, homeboy does not have it. He wasn't terrible, but he was not very good. There were so many times that him and Brad Pitt had these certain scenes where Brad Pitt comes on the scene and, Damson's character is like young and prideful and arrogant, and so he doesn't want this old timer there stealing his thunder. So he's like, go away, grandpa. And then you have Sonny, who's like also arrogant but older and wiser, and I don't know, they get in these like arguments. And every time that they had an argument, there were 2 scenes in particular where it's just them two, just Damson and Brad Pitt. And oh my gosh, they were terrible scenes. They were just such terrible acting. It really took me out of the movie because I could tell so much that they were just reading their lines and were not really in it. Like, they were not playing their characters. I could tell we were acting, and hated it. But what I hated the most about this freaking movie was not that it was like somewhat boring and a stupid basic plot and there was like moments of bad acting. Sure, you know what? I can look past all of that. You want to know what I can't look past? I cannot look past the one woman in this show. Well, okay, there's 2 women, but the one, she is the star, like, engineer. She is the top engineer who, like, builds the car, okay? This is a very, very, very prestigious thing, and it's amazing that she, as a woman, is in this space, because this is obviously a very male-dominated field, and to be this, like, aerospace engineer woman who builds these cars, incredible, amazing. And what do? They cheapen her freaking role and have her sleep with Brad Pitt. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Ugh. Sometimes I hate male directors. I hate male writers. That is the dumbest, stupidest. Do not put this as a romance movie. Don't put it one element of romance. If you are going to take the one female character in this show and you're going to make her the love interest, oh my gosh, you okay, you know what? I need to like take a second and compose what I'm trying to say. Why this is upsetting is because they were checking so many boxes with this one woman, and that's what's so frustrating, is because they needed a woman in the show, right? Because it's just like so male dominated. Okay, great. We're gonna make the engineer a woman. Ooh, wow, look at us. So woke. Um, how forward and feminist of us. Okay, awesome. Put this woman in this role that is typically reserved for a man. Great. But then to also have it be the same person that's the love interest, but you do nothing towards their love story. Instead, Sunny flirts with her like twice, and then all of a sudden she's in his bed. You think that this woman, who worked so hard for her career to be able to be in this position, would throw it all away for some stupid race car guy that's here for 2 seconds? They don't even have a real relationship. They barely talk to each other. He's just somewhat good looking, which, by the way, Brad Pitt, not that hot. Like, it just is so aggravating to me, because no woman in that position who has worked that hard, who is that smart, would ever do that. And so to me, it just was such a throwaway moment and really pissed me off, because you just cheapened her entire role. It did not pass the Bechdel test, which, if you've heard of that, it's how many women are in the movie that actually have names. Do the women talk to each other, and do they ever have a conversation that does not have to do with a man? And it does not pass that test. And it's just so, okay, fine. Make a male-dominated movie. Make it about racing. Make it towards the male gaze. Fine. Then don't add this extra element of this woman sleeping with Brad Pitt. It had nothing to do with the plot. It really felt like it was out of nowhere. And it made her job and her importance and her professionalism zero. It made her just this cheap little girl that slept with Brad Pitt. Like, she was just like this pretty person. Like, you took away her entire value as a person by putting her into that category. And that, I just can't see past it. I can't. So, yeah, I was pissed and didn't like it at all. It was an okay movie, but no. Just overall, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. No to F1. Sorry, I have one more thing to say. Okay, I'm sure I got my point across. But if not, let me just condense it into this tiny little thing. What's most frustrating to me is that you take this woman and you just make her the love interest. You just make her to serve the purpose of the movie, that to remind us that Brad Pitt is hot enough to land any woman that he wants, and that this woman would, like, you know, risk her entire career and everything. But that, like, doesn't even matter. Like, her career is just so lowly valued because it's not seen as important because she's a woman. And that is what I think is wrong with this entire, not only film, but just what too often happens is the women are just these side characters. If they are in a position of power of any kind, it's mainly so that the movie can say that they, you know, put a woman in that position to kind of get points, in the same way that they add, you know, a person of color or of disability or a queer person so that they can say that they added them, rather than actually giving value and a storyline and a plot and substance to those characters. They're just these side people. And so often women fulfill both the side character role and, like, the love interest role that just has no real relevance. Like, it just, has no value to it and to her. And so that's what I'm trying to say. I think I got it across the first time, but in case I didn't, you know what? Let's run it back and say it for a third time, because if there's anything I love, it's beating a dead horse. So, thank you. Also on my recent watch list was Far from the Madding Crowd. Maddening? No, it's Madding Crowd. Madding. Far from the Madding Crowd. This one was good. It had the same woman that's in Promising Young Woman, which is one of my favorite movies. Very dark and haunting. But her name is Carey Mulligan. And then the love interest in this, who plays Gabriel, oh my goodness. Oh, he was cute. He was very, very cute. There was a lot of angst in this entire movie, and I don't do super well with angst if you don't have a good payout in the end. That's why sometimes I struggle with K-dramas, because, like, the angst be angsting. We are just on the edge of the seat for so long, and I just want something to happen. And then it's just like a little innocent kiss, and you're like, oh, okay. All right. But because I just have nowhere to, really put that built up sexual energy. So now I gotta find somewhere to channel that. So, like, thank you so much. I was really hoping that you would help expel that energy that you helped build up in me, but no. Okay, I gotta figure something out to do with that. So I think maybe that's why I don't personally love angst. But this movie, it was cute. So it was about this Victorian woman. So it's set in England, and she is a headstrong, independent woman, which obviously I love. She was running the farm. She ends up, she's at the very beginning of the movie, she's running her aunt's farm for the summer. And there is this not neighborhood, it's in England. It's like the countryside. There is a neighbor who is a farmer, and he's a shepherd, actually. And he is so cute, and they, talk a couple times, and then he proposes to her, and she says no. She says, no, you would resent me because I'm, like, too headstrong for you. It wouldn't work. She then ends up getting the estate of her, like, late uncle, and so she goes to take over this big farm. And when she takes over this big farm, she hires on the guy who once proposed to her as the shepherd, and this is, like, years later. And then you just kind of have this storyline of him, them having chemistry. I wouldn't say he's, like, still in love with her. He probably is. He definitely cares for her and cares about her, and she, same to him, but now she's, like, his boss, so she wouldn't do that. And then there's another farmer, and then there's a guy from the military that comes along, and so it's just kind of like these multiple men, and the whole time you have Farmer Gabriel just in the background watching. And you know what? I'm going to spoil it. Because you guys probably aren't going to watch it. It was far too slow for 99% of you. Okay, you're not going to watch this movie. Okay. There's a farmer that lives next door to her now that she's, like, rich and owns a much, much, much bigger farm. So there's this neighbor, and he kind of courts her, and he proposes to her, and she turns him down as well, because this military man comes along who's, like, young and hot, and he just seduces her, basically, and she throws away all of her, not only morals, but just her independence, her strong will, everything that, like, makes her her. She throws that away for him, and she ends up marrying this soldier who, shocker, he's abusive. Classic. Just absolutely classic. You have this amazing strong woman who's, like, freaking owner of a farm, and then gets into an abusive relationship with this young hot person, and then now she's like, what have I done? And now she feels very trapped. And I do think that this speaks to bigger themes that a lot of people assume that those in abusive relationships are, poor or uneducated or not strong-willed. That's actually so statistically incorrect that it's not even funny. Yeah, this whole last semester, my professor, she did her PhD in domestic violence. She's also a lawyer. She did her PhD many moons ago. And then she went to law school. She works in the domestic violence space. We had a lot of different classes in my forensic sexology class about abuse, specifically domestic abuse, child sexual abuse, all of that. And one of the most interesting parts of each of those classes where we talked about abuse is the common misconceptions, and we show the actual statistics of how many women are actually middle class and educated, and that is who is in abusive relationships, not the poor, uneducated women that most people assume are in abusive relationships. That's actually not true. The majority is middle class educated. So I think that this movie kind of spoke to that in a real way, and I liked that. But, of course, it's always sad and frustrating to see such an amazing, independent, incredible woman fall for someone and then just give up who she is. And then it turns out, oh, this is a terrible person, and what have I done? And now I'm stuck, and now this person now has financial control over me because they control the finances. And anyways, you see that play out. Well, he ends up, it's kind of complicated, the storyline. What you need to know is he dies. He dies, and that kind of frees her up. And then the person who killed the abusive husband was actually the neighbor, the farmer, the rich one. So he's now in prison for killing her husband. I mean, it was for the right reasons, but now her abusive husband's dead. The farmer that proposed to her is in prison, and so now that leaves Farmer Gabriel, who was there the whole time. She should have said yes from the start, and who still loves her, and it was really cute, and they end up together. But ultimately, it was a very long movie. It was kind of a weird plot. I know it's based on a book. Kind of weird, kind of boring. I don't think it's for everyone. I don't even know if it was for me, really. I mean, I'm glad I watched it, but I will also never be watching it again. That is not going on any list. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. But, yeah, none of you need to watch it. The acting in it was phenomenal, though. More than I could say for F1. Sorry to stay negative, but, this is what happens when people make stupid movies. I watched Roofman with Channing Tatum. This one I was so excited about. I felt really hyped for this. I had watched the trailer. I was gonna go see it in the theaters, actually. But I ended up waiting, and I was so pumped because it's a true story. I love a cool true story. And it's about this guy who was ex-military, and he ends up, he robbed a bunch of McDonald's and Burger Kings, and he was called, what was it called? Former Army Ranger and struggling father turns to robbing McDonald's restaurants by cutting holes in their roofs, earning him the nickname Roofman. And then he ends up going to prison for his crimes, obviously. But it was funny because even on the news, they show, some of the news at the end of the movie, people being interviewed. He was, so nice when he was robbing people. So he would just carve the hole in the roof, wait until people came in first thing in the morning to, open up McDonald's or Burger King, and then he would put them in the freezer, and, he even gave his coat to one of the people, because he was like, everybody put your coats on, and then he would call the police on himself, so that way the cops would get there and get them out of the freezer quickly. So he had a whole operation. He was actually, a really nice guy, but, he was a criminal, and he did a rob, but I don't know, this one's hard because there are people who do much, 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 much worse things, who are just psychopaths and crazy and cruel, who get way less time. And this guy got a lot of time for his crimes. And it's okay, but I don't know. I feel like maybe it's just my field, but someone who commits there's worse crimes. There's worse crimes than robbing a McDonald's, you know? But I'm clearly not a judge. Clearly, don't put me in law enforcement. Because I'd say, there's worse things to happen. Well, he escapes from prison, and he hides in a Toys R Us for 6 months. This is true. This is a true story. And I was excited. It was kind of fun, the beginning of the movie, and then also him first hiding out in Toys R Us. And he just is hiding in plain sight. Like, it's just amazing. But then the movie gets boring, and it gets long and monotonous and kind of dumb. And he ends up sneaking out of Toys R Us to go to a church, and he meets this woman and kind of falls in love with her. And eventually he is caught, and this woman that he was dating helps the police to capture him. And he goes back to prison, and he's been in prison ever since, and he won't get out until he's like way too old. He'll probably die in prison, this man, for hiding out in a Toys R Us. But I feel like this movie could have been so much more, and it was very disappointing. And don't watch it, because ultimately it was boring, and there's better movies about true story crazy things that have happened, and this is not a good one. So put it on the pass list. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 10. That's gonna be for my own scale and for the public. I watched Eternity in the theaters, and this one was hard because when we started the movie off, the movie wasn't playing. It was just a blank screen. And then once people threw enough of a fit, then the employees came in, and then they had to like start it over from the beginning. And then we got to the core part of the movie, like the part where the highest suspense is, and the whole thing like muted. So I don't even know really like what happens, because it was muted, and then it took forever to get an employee back in there, and then it stopped 2 more times as well. So I'm gonna have to watch it again, because I feel like I missed so much of the vital information of that movie. I missed the whole beginning, and then yes, it was skipped back, but not all the way, and then all the muting, and then the screen going black. People were very, very upset in the theater. I mean, I was sad and disappointed, but I was not, ready to get my pitchfork like some of them were. There was a storm that was going on at the same time, so I wonder if that's what messed with it, because apparently we were not the only theater that had problems. Yeah, I got out of that theater and people were angry. Some people even left in the middle of the movie because they were so upset that it wasn't playing, which I guess I understand, but I just don't ever think making a huge fuss out of something is the way to get what you want. You catch more bees with honey. Or is it more flies with honey? Either way, you're catching things being sweet, not being mean. And if that's the worst thing to happen to you today, is your movie didn't work, yes, I get it. We all spent, $25 to be there. I was disappointed too, don't get me wrong. I was slightly upset that, my movie, I wasn't able to watch it in the way that I was hoping to, and now I'm gonna have to watch it again because I feel like I missed, the most important scenes. But there's bigger issues in the world, and there's worse things that have happened to me in my life, and you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Those employees had enough to deal with, and enough people who were angry, and I just didn't want to add to that, and I was with an amazing friend that also didn't want to add to that, and so we went on our merry way and said, bummer. But I did like what I saw. It was very funny. I laughed out loud multiple times. The ending, guys, I'm so sorry, but I need to watch it again to actually decide if I liked it or not, because that was when it started glitching out the most, was the ending. So I think I liked it, ? For now, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 rating. I think it will go up, but I need to watch it again. But it's definitely good enough for me to want to watch it again. So there's that. I know that was not a very good review, but you want to know what? It was not a very good watching experience. but I did go see it. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, you know what? To end, we're going to end on a positive note. I did watch some other things, but we're going to get to those in a little bit, in a different episode. We are going to end with a shout out to my other sister-in-law. I actually have 2 other sister-in-laws, but this one's for Sarah. Sarah, you did it, girl. You did it. You gave me an amazing book recommendation. Everyone who gives me a good recommendation should get a shout out on this pod because you deserve it. It is hard to please me when it comes to books and TV and books. And yeah. You all know the deal. We've all had this conversation with Kiara, okay? It is hard to give me something I like because I'm just a snob. That's just the truth. But she recommended this book a long time ago, probably over a year ago. And I bought it when she recommended it, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But I finally did. And it is called, hold on, I need to go to my audio, The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa K. Adams. Wow, was it fun. First off, the plot of this book, this is the reason I downloaded it when she told me about it, because I was like, absolutely, that is so my genre. The plot of the book is you have a husband and wife who've been married for 3 years, and he finds out that she has been faking her orgasms for that entire 3-year period. Of course, he's butthurt about it and does not react well. But now they're on the verge of divorce because, like, everything, shit's hitting the fan. That was just the tip of the iceberg. There was obviously other problems. If you're faking it for that long, you're faking it in other things and blah, 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 blah. Well, he goes to his bros, and his bros say, okay, listen, do you want to fix your marriage? And he says, yes. Yes, I'll do anything. And they say, okay, then come to our house on Tuesday. So he goes, and they're all there. There's just like a bunch of men. And, of course, they're in, what is he? He's like a pro baseball player. And there's, NHL and NFL and, the pro sports players are all there. And they are in a romance book club for all of these men who are married. And I freaking love it. I loved that plot. Because, of course, he's there and he's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you are in this romance book club. Like, what is happening here? And they're like, no, dude, listen. We read romance books because they're like manuals. They help us understand our wives better and what females want and how they think and understanding like backstory and context and how to express your emotions and your feelings. And I have literally said this for ages. I've been saying this for a decade. I've actually been saying it since I was a teenager. I never understood why men don't read romance books who actually, like straight men. Straight men, why are you not reading romance books? Because that is all you need to know about women. Like, why is this the #1 selling genre in the entire world? It's because it's by women, written for women. And yet, there's all of these books that are basically manuals to tell you exactly how we want to be treated. And yet, they're like, you just can't figure women out. They're just so hard. They're so complicated. No, we're freaking not. No, we're not. We will tell you exactly what we mean and what we want, and we will tell you, we will express all of those things. But we have learned your language. We were taught it since birth. This is the world we live in. It is a man's world. We speak your language. And actually, I'm going to pull a quote from the movie that I watched, Far From the Maddening Crowd, which I wrote it down because it was so good. Maddening crowd. Hold on. Crowd. Here we go. She says this line in the movie, and it's going to relate to what I'm saying right now, okay? She's in a conversation with this man, and he says, do you like me? She says, yes, very much. And he says, do you respect me? She says, yes. And he says, well, which is it? Do you like me or do you respect me? She says back to him, it is difficult for a woman to define her feelings in a language chiefly made by men to express theirs. I'm just going to read that back again. It is difficult for a woman to define her feelings in a language chiefly made by men to express theirs. Wow. Now that was written by a woman. So, yeah, we learned your language, we speak it fluently, but you never learned ours. So, if you want to learn our language, read a freaking romance book. And guess what? You'll probably like it because they're great. They're such wonderful stories and they can teach you so much about women. Oh my gosh. Guys, I can't tell you how much I loved this plot because I was like, yes, I have been saying this forever. So in the book, he's in this romance book club, and so he's reading these romance books to better understand his wife and how to like woo her and how to get her back and express his feelings and talk about, you know, the stuff that they don't talk about. It was just so great. It was so cute. I really enjoyed it. I was smiling like a little idiot. It was so cute. So the Bromance Book Club, it's an entire series. I will be reading more installments, but the first one I am going to give a solid 7 out of 10. I really, really liked it. So way to go, Sarah. Thank you so much, my friend. Oh, it was great. And I can't wait to leave my review on Goodreads. Speaking of other books that I've read, just since I'm on Audible right now, I can go through Female Chauvinistic Pigs. I have like an hour left of that one. That one has been extremely fascinating. I have really enjoyed that. I also recently finished Rethinking Sex. That changed my life. That book was so freaking good. All of these ones about like gender and sex and stuff, this is all going to be on my sex ed podcast, The Virgin Sex Educator. So if you want to know my full thoughts on these, go to that. For Goodness Sex. Oh, I also read That We May Have Joy, Dr. Jennifer Finlayson's 5th new book. Oh my gosh. And I finished Want recently by Gillian Anderson, all about women's fantasies. That was really good. Let's see, Passionate Marriage by David Schnarch. Phenomenal. What else have I read? Those are kind of been my most recent books. A lot of them are obviously school related. Oh, and right now I'm reading Invisible Women by Caroline Perez, which I can already tell you right now I'm going to love it. Recently downloaded that I will be reading is Impossible Odds by Jessica Buchanan. It's a true story autobiography about her rescue from, I think it's Somalian pirates. She was kidnapped. And then I have Mating in Captivity by Esther Perel. Because how am I a sexologist and haven't read that yet? I know. Don't worry, guys. I'm on it. Okay. I think that's enough for today. I need to go on a walk. I also need to put in contact solution because my eyes are so dry right now. But I think it is cool enough now outside for me to go and venture out without getting skin cancer. So I love you all so much. Thanks for being here. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you had a very Merry Christmas. I cannot believe I'm 1 year older and wiser too. Happy birthday to me. And also, you want to know what my birthday present was this year? I was on a ferry coming back from Rottnest Island, and this random stranger came up to me and my friends and said, "You're Nikki." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I follow you on Instagram." And then we took a picture together. So I had my first fan encounter from Instagram, and it was by far the funniest thing that has ever happened. And I also feel so bad because I truly have never thought through that scenario one time, and I feel like I was extremely awkward. And I just want you to know, all going forward, if that ever happens again, that I will be better. I will be better next time at someone coming up and telling me that they follow me on Instagram. I will be less weird than I was with this poor man. But it did make my whole day. I was like, wow, what a treat. And then I saw wild dolphins on like 2 days ago. So you know what? It's been a great week. I did get sunburned. That was the downside. But you know, with the joys come the pains. They coexist. You can't live without them. I think that's all my wise words that I have for you. Remember, don't give away your space in your head rent-free. Make people pay to be in there. Don't spend your time thinking about things that aren't going to serve you, okay? If it's making you anxious and just like stressed out, girl, stop. Stop. We're not doing that anymore. get some coping mechanisms, go see a professional if you need to. That's what they're there for. They can help you with all of the tools and getting them together so that you can actually build something in your mind, a fortress for you to live in that's beautiful and wonderful and filled with all of your favorite things. It's okay to not be able to do that by yourself, okay? There's people with whole careers that, like, that's their whole thing. So yeah, go get help if you need it. And if not, you know what? Maintain the forts, and I love you all. This has been my life and thoughts. Whoa, that was in the wrong order. Thanks for listening to my thoughts on life, because this has been Life According to Nikki.